Welcome back, guys. In today's video, we're gonna go ahead and cover the comments. Tyreek Hill saying, "I'm out, bro. I gotta look out for the Tyreek Hill family and what's best for the Tyreek Hill family." And does he really want out of Miami? We're gonna go ahead and cover and discuss that topic. Plus, play a couple clips from a couple videos. Plus, play the press conference, the end of the year press conference from Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, and then give you my thoughts at the end of all this. It seems like he does want out of Miami, but it also seems from what I've read or heard from the press conference that he might have taken those words back. But at this point, in my opinion, he's doing the Jimmy Butler thing that Jimmy has done with Miami, that he's wanting out of Miami. Both are prima donna players. The only difference between Jimmy Butler and Tyreek Hill, in my opinion, are that Jimmy Butler has taken the Miami Heat to the finals 2 times, and Tyreek Hill pretty much has two 2,000-yard seasons with the Miami Dolphins, but he has not taken the Miami Dolphins. We have gone to the playoffs 2 out of 3 years with Mike McDaniel, but he has not done anything special for the Miami Dolphins. He has not even got them to the conference championships. In Jimmy Butler's situation, he thinks he's Dwayne Wade. He's not. Dwayne Wade won championships for the Heat, which is, I'm comparing these players because they have not done anything for their team in terms of winning championships. So, does Tyreek Hill want to leave Miami, or does he want to stay? I'll leave it up to you, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end of playing these couple clips. The first clip is Stephen A. Smith's reaction to Tyreek Hill saying that he wants to leave Miami. The second clip will be Cam Wolf, and then well, not Cam Wolf. Sorry, guys. It will be another reporter. I can't think of his name right now, speaking on that, and then it will be Cam Wolf, and then I'll play the press conference for you guys, and then give you my final thoughts in terms of this. But this can get nasty over the summer, because if Chris Greer wants, he can ask for guaranteed money to be paid back from Tyreek Hill, and he can also ask for signing bonuses to be paid back if if Chris Greer wants to be that way. Do I think he has the guts to do it? I don't think so. I also think that Stephen Ross enables the chaos that's happening with the organization, because I also read earlier this week that not only Tyreek Hill might want to leave Miami, but our superstar cornerback, Jalen Ramsey, is saying behind closed doors that he may want to leave Miami also. And also, we may lose the defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, to another team, because he's interviewing for the New Orleans Saints and the Chicago Bears job. Does that play into Ramsey wanting to leave, or is it a cultural issue? I will go ahead and give you my thoughts if Tyreek Hill will leave in this video, and then I'll go ahead and I'll do another video in the near future of why do I think the culture in Miami is soft, and does Stephen Ross have to do anything with the Miami culture and Miami culture insanity that's going on, of players getting fined and getting a slap on the wrist and showing up to practice late? I'll go ahead and do another video in the coming weeks about that and give you my thoughts about that right now. But let me go ahead and play the clips from Stephen A. Smith about what he says about the Tyreek Hill situation, and then we'll go with Florio, and then Cam Wolf and their thoughts, and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section about this current situation, and we'll try Tyreek Hill just like Jimmy Butler leave Miami for real, or is Tyreek Hill just bluffing because he was upset after the game, the big loss to the New York Jets this past week, when we ended our season with a major loss to a team that wasn't going anywhere. So here we go. Here's Stephen A. Smith with his thoughts on the Tyreek Hill situation. And then I'll play Flurio's thoughts, and then I'll play Campbell's thoughts, and then we'll go from there.
Go ahead. Oh, hell to the no. Stay your ass right there. You want the chirp, right? Oh, no. We not. I wanted to go first. I wanted the non-football guy to go first because I wanted to defer to y'all, but I wanted to lay it out for you, Shay, and for you, Swagoo. Ain't this the same Tyreek Hill? Now, listen. We know he all world. This is my favorite receiver. The cheetah's the cheetah. However, when that same dude that said Tua was comparable to Patrick Mahomes, am I missing? Ain't that same dude? Ain't that same dude that swore? Swore up and down. Watch what we do. Ain't that dude? That's the same dude. And then long before we could look at Tua and look at the concussions, or even after, did they roll up into Kansas City last year in the playoffs? And we knew they were done the second we heard the meteorologists give us the weather report. Because these brothers can't wait. Yep. They can't play in weather that's worse than 40 degrees. Ain't that this the same team? Correct me, Shay? Swagoo, am I lying? Ain't this the same team? And oh, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the same Tyreek Hill, who got his bag now, restructured his deal for Miami, got his bag now. I don't want to hear about your family. Because your family is when it comes to the money. Not the game, that's you. That's not your family, that's you. That's you, Tyreek Hill. This is the same brother. Tua had 17 starts last year. This year he got 11. This year, he was targeted 171 times last year. 123 this year. Receptions, 119 last year. 81 this year. Receiving yards, 1799 last year. 959 this year. That's a 38% drop in receptions. That's damn near 800 yards. It is an 800-yard drop in receiving yards. And by the way, his reception yards per game, it dipped from 112 to 56.4, which is his fewest since his rookie season. Life's a little bit different when you ain't with Patrick Mahomes. We tried to tell you.
Oh, no.
We don't want to hear about no family now. You got your bag. That ain't family, bro. Family's the bag. Once you get the bag, family's taken care of. It's about you. Recognizing life is a little bit different when Patrick Mahomes ain't throwing you the football. Floor is yours.
Before I follow what Stephen A. said, I got a problem with what he did. He took himself out of the game. He wasn't injured. We didn't play the sound, but Mike McDaniel said he was informed that Tyreek in the fourth quarter was unavailable. And to his knowledge, it was not brought to his attention that it was anything new injury related. So if that's the case, what is the difference between what Tyreek Hill and what Antonio Brown did in Tampa when he refused to go back into the game in that Bears stadium? If that's true, what's the difference between what he did and what Devondre Campbell did? He quit on his team. Now you running around yapping. Kansas City did you a favor. Even when you had your off-field transgressions in college, they took you. Even when you had some off-field transgressions in Kansas City, they stood behind you. And what you do is you go and take a shot. You should have thought about that. You thought, I got to do what's best in my family. You thought going to Miami was going to be the best for your family and your career long-term. Tua over Patrick Mahomes, I ain't got no problem when you get your money. Get your money. But Swagoo, I don't know if you remember, they asked him earlier if Kansas City came and asked him to restructure. Tyreek said he wouldn't restructure. He signed the contract. He wants the money that he had earned. Now, he comes back to them earlier. He signed that contract. He wanted to renegotiate. Kansas City says, okay, yes, we will. They couldn't get to the money that Miami was going to give him. He took it. And then, well, I'm going to tell you, Tua is just as accurate. He might be more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. Are you serious? Right. If you look at Tua's history, Swagoo, you follow college football a lot more than Stephen A. and I do. Tua had an injury history in college.
It's a lot of time.
He limped. If you limp into the NFL, you're going to limp your ass out of it. You limp into the season, you're going to limp out of it. So he came into the league injured. He's been injured basically his entire NFL career. And you thought the better career move was to go take your talent and team up with Tua and leave Mahomes? And I'm going to turn it over to you, Swag, because I want to hear what you got to say. Would we look at Tyreek any different, Swagoo, Stephen A? He stays in Kansas City. Instead of catching 1,800 yards and 119 passes, let's just say he catch 100 passes or he catch 90 passes and he has 1,500 yards. Do we look at him any different? Yeah, let me tell you why we do. Because he has 2 extra Super Bowls on his resume.
Super Bowls.
He's a 3-time champion, not a 1-time champion.
That's right.
Tyreek.
All right, guys. Now I'm going to go ahead and play the Florio reaction to the situation. And then I'll play Cam Wolf. And then I will go ahead and play the clip where Tyreek Hill says he wants out of Miami because I got it from another clip. Let me do the Florio reaction.
Yesterday, the Dolphins had an opportunity to get to the playoffs. They needed the Broncos to lose. And apparently once Tyreek Hill realized the Broncos were going to win handily, he decided he was not going to play in the game. That, I think, led to some things. And ultimately, in the locker room after the game, he was originally, according to Omar Kelly of the Miami Herald, he was not going to talk to reporters. They talked him into speaking. And he said a few things that you're going to have a hard time taking back. Have a listen.
I feel like at the end of the day, there's a lot of things that, I need to reassess, about, my career. And, just see where.
What you're hearing now is the reaction and what Tyreek was saying after the Jets loss. Then Florio will give his reaction.
What I need to do, continue to get better, as a player, so I can continue to reach that 1,000-yard mark. So it is what it is. This is my first time I haven't been in the playoffs, man. So for me, like I said, man, I just gotta do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here or that's wherever the case may be, man, I'm finna open that door for myself, dog. As I'm opening the door, I'm out, bro. So it was great playing here, but all right, at the end of the day, bro, I gotta do what's best for for my career and what's best. Because I'm too much of a competitor to be, just out there.
You thinking about leaving him?
If it is, hey, yes.
Look, that's about as blunt as candid as you'll ever hear from Tyreek Hill. The guy who wanted to stay for the rest of his career in Miami. He's a guy who always just kind of says what he has to say to embrace his current situation. He doesn't want to make waves. And then under the surface, there's always something else going on. And he wanted that contract. It'd be a lot easier for him to walk away if he hadn't done the contract. Now there's going to be complications. Who's going to want to take on his salary for next year? It's like $27 million in total cash commitment. I don't know that he's a $27 million guy anymore. And also, on top of that, Mike McDaniel yesterday suggested that Tyreek refused to enter the game because of a condition that wasn't a new injury. And it sounds a lot like Deontay Johnson in Baltimore, Devondre Campbell in San Francisco. And it opens the door for Miami to go after him for some of the money he's already received. This could, depending upon how ugly the Dolphins want to make this, this could get very ugly.
Yeah, it's kind of shocking, I guess, that he comes out in that way. I'll say this. I've been waiting for him to spout off.
It's amazing it took this long.
It is. Because I will argue, I do think he's still a $27 million a year receiver. I do. I think he's better than some of the other guys out there that we could talk about. You just talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown, right?
Yeah, the thing is, people like Geico because it's just easy. Bundling, for example. You've got car insurance here and home insurance here. Why not? Zip, put them together. Save even more. Geico.
Who would you rather have, him or Tyreek Hill right now?
Right now, I don't know.
I don't know. I think I'd still go with Tyreek, right? I think I would. But I think that's where Tyreek's frustration is coming from. And you wonder how much...
Total package.
Right. Well, you talk about the rest of your career, I understand. I'm going to say might win, right?
But Do they want Tyreek Hill and all the shit that goes along with having Tyreek Hill?
I got you there. That's certainly something to weigh, right? I was talking more physically on the field.
Because,
you're right,
because I think that, look, when the Chiefs decided to move on from him, it was the culmination of he has been a pain in our ass all year long. That was the 2021 season, and I firmly believe as Cooper Kupp was approaching all of those single-season receiving records, he was losing his mind. I could do that too. I want the ball more. Give me the ball more. I need the ball more. I mean, no one ever said that, but you got the impression that's what was happening. So he decided enough with this guy. Yeah. Enough. We're trying to win Super Bowls, not placate a diva receiver. And that's okay. I know a lot of receivers out there. The attitude is, we want to win. I want the ball. The more I get the ball, the more likely we are to win. And in a place like Miami where they're not winning, it's even more of a frustration for him. I get it. Yeah. I get it.
Right.
But that's part of what you have to take on with Tyreek Hill.
Right.
At the talent level, when a guy is on the wrong side of 30, I just never. I'm like, the Bill Belichick. You want to.
That's Mike Flores' reaction, guys. Now I'm going to read to you an article, and then I may play the press conference, or I may do a second video of the press conference from Greer and Mike McDaniel, so this video doesn't get too long. And then I'll go ahead and give you my thoughts on the situation. But this is basically a audio and an article saying that the Dolphins plan to fix their relationship with Tyreek Hill. The Miami Dolphins organization addressed the toxic Tyreek problem, two separate 1-hour meetings with the All-Pro receiver, and it appears Tyreek Hill remains in the franchise future. Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel has spoken with Hill in the days that followed him pulling himself from last Sunday's game and stopping just short of demanding a trade following Miami's season-ending loss 32-20 to the New York Jets, which kept the Dolphins 8-9 from producing a winning season for the 5th straight year. The competitive spirit of Tyreek can represent in post-game in a season or a game that nobody likes. I was very direct with him. He was very honest. We left it on great terms. Coach Mike McDaniel said, "We discussed multiple things, including without wavering, that it's not acceptable to leave a game and won't be tolerated in the future." And he embraced accountability. I wouldn't say there's anything to fix as much as we had to clear the air. Hill, who had fought through mounting injuries to turn in his second least productive season of his accomplished NFL career, welcomed the possibility of leaving the Miami Dolphins, a franchise that he earlier this season said he would like to retire from. "I'm opening the door. I'm out, bro. It was great playing here, but at the end of the day, I gotta do what's best for my career," said Hill, who caught 79 of 120 passes thrown his way in 16 games he played in 2024, turning them into 939 yards and 6 touchdowns. "I'm too much of a competitor to be just out there." However, it seems Hill has backed off requesting a trade on Monday. However, the Dolphins could be posturing to improve his trade value. In a frustrating season, he was very emotional, General Manager Chris Greer said about Hill's outburst. He never asked for a trade with him. Since his 2022 arrival in Miami, Hill has rewrote the Dolphins' record books, racking up back-to-back 1,700-yard receiving seasons, and he has transformed the Dolphins into one of the most productive offenses in the league. He even earned the honor of being voted by his peers the #1 player in the league in the NFL Network Players Top 100 poll. Although Hill has played with a torn ligament in his wrist, something that the wideout said he sustained during joint practices with the Washington Commanders. Inconsistent quarterback play, namely the 6 games Tua missed due to his concussion issues early in the season, and then the hip injury that forced him to miss the final 2 games ultimately hurt his numbers. The Dolphins finished the season ranked as an NFL's 18th best offense, which is the lowest ranking the team has had in the McDaniel era. The question that Miami's decision makers must address is how much worse could the offense get without Hill if he's traded, released, or retiring. The 5-time All-Pro receiver, his contract runs out in 2026. Hill will have a $27.7 million cap hit in 2025. Yet that figure could change depending on whether he's traded. If the trade happens before June 1st, the dead cap hit money would slightly raise to $28.3 million, but drop $12.7 million if it occurs afterwards. The Dolphins have traded a first and second round pick to first, second, and a fourth round pick and a sixth round pick to acquire Hill from the Chiefs in 2022, but it is highly doubtful they will receive anything greater than the second round pick or the equivalent of that because of his existing contract. If Hill is moved, he would become the third diva receiver in the franchise has moved in recent years, following Brandon Marshall and Mike Wallace. The Dolphins moved Marshall to Chicago for 2 third-round picks after acquiring him from Denver for 2 second-round picks and the 2 seasons earlier. Minnesota acquired Wallace and a 2015 7th-round pick from Miami for a 5th-round pick. So, guys, there you have it. Can Hill be traded? Supposedly, the relationship is being fixed, but like the Miami Heat writer said, it can be. I mean, not Miami Heat. The Miami Herald writer said it can be posturing by the Dolphins. We'll see what happens in the offseason. Leave me your thoughts down below, and guys, stay positive, stay on your grind, and pass the word around so we can grow the Rolling with Carlos family. Also, if you're interested in custom cups, custom keychains, or custom candles, check out rollingwithcarlos.com. And in the near future, there should be some merch of Rolling with Carlos on the website also. You guys have a great day. Peace.